Welcome to No Flips, Just Mics. This is CONQUEST's weekly wrestling podcast in which we just talk about wrestling all day long, or at least for an hour. Well, actually, maybe not at least an hour. We'll say about 45 minutes. See where it goes from there. I am Rhys Baldwin. Joining me, my co-host, my partner in crime, who busts a rhyme every here and there. It's Eric Hart.
Yo, hi.
This is episode 9. We're getting there. We're getting the ball rolling. We're getting through them.
Number 10. Downing Street.
10.
Oh yeah, 10. Perfect 10.
The perfect 10.
Perfect 10.
And joining us today is my bottle of water, his bottle of water, the microphone, the mouse, and
White walls.
this. Yes, white walls. Because winter is coming. Topic 1. So we've got 3 topics. Of course, we'll have the heart attic a bit later on. First topic is all about booking and the importance of good booking and how impactful booking is on someone's believability, their sort of, their drawing power.
Well, yeah.
Because SummerSlam was a great sort of reminder of just how bad booking can actually get for certain people. For others, it's better. Like Big Cass came out on top, but it was at the expense of Enzo. To be fair, their feud, Enzo has really just been a fly.
But Enzo's never really had a chance to showcase anything really. He was always the fall guy in the tag team. I feel like it made sense to have Cass be the one going over in that feud.
Overall, yes.
But obviously that doesn't make any. It makes no difference now because he's out for 9 months. Cass is out for 9 months, so it's all null and void.
Yeah, that sucks.
And now Enzo's on 205 Live. It gives him a chance to maybe try and.
Obviously, in the cruiserweight division, he'll have a better chance.
Yeah,
to be fair, he's effectively going and it's then taken away from the cruiserweight division at all. He's going from a small fish in a massive pond filled with giants to a reasonably sized fish in the cruiserweight division, where he can actually maybe hit some moves on all the. Everywhere, and he can just look a bit more believable, I guess, because whenever anyone was on about they're going to split up and what have you, I'm like, Big Cass, yeah, he'll do fine, but I was always like, Enzo, what is he going to do unless they put him in
I think that's the only thing they could do with him without him being just like a just squashed really, and it's like it's.
And we don't want to see that from Enzo. He's too big a character. But it's apparently as well, obviously, at SummerSlam, he was in the shark cage. He done all this shtick to get out, and then when he finally did, he got kicked in the face, and that was it. His SummerSlam moment was just a comedy. Apparently, when they were on a tour of Europe or something,
he got kicked off a bus.
He got kicked off a bus, and it was I wish it wasn't like it. I don't even know if it is like it, but do they really penalise people for on camera, in ring, for stuff that goes on outside?
Well, I heard it was just it wasn't. My idea that whole thing was false as well, so that didn't actually happen.
Never know.
It's a very odd thing. I think mainly they mainly did it. One, it boosted 205 Live a bit by having someone with who is kind of over with the crowd.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I said, it's
the move to 205, not disputing, but I just mean the fact how they just made him look a bit.
I feel like there was no other way to do anything with Cass, because Enzo just doesn't. For me, Enzo is zero threat for Cass.
Yeah.
So I couldn't. So I guess that kind of. I think the more damaging booking was more for someone like Corbin or Rusev.
Yeah.
Rusev particularly, because he's been just like...
Well, he's been a main eventer. He's been in big matches, and then they just have him not necessarily be a jobber, but a jobber to the main eventers.
He's basically not winning. Well, he's not winning. Let's put it that way. He's being like Bray Wyatt. That's
he's enhancing the main eventers.
That's another good example of it. Bray Wyatt, I think, actually.
Another one suffered from bad booking.
Like they just don't give him enough. They just don't give him enough wins. They just give him.
No, his only big win was the Elimination Chamber match where he won the title. What happened? He lasted a month, lost to Orton.
At Mania.
And it's like...
he won the House of Horrors.
Won the House of Horrors. Wasn't for the title.
I mean, yeah, that's the only thing really. It's the only title he held. The other for a month, that was it. They checked him out. They're doing, carrying on his feud with Balor by the looks of things.
House of Horrors 2. Why not? In No Mercy.
I mean, House of Horrors was not a good... This is a bit of an odd, dodgy decision because of its...
It was weird because I liked it. I liked the stuff they were doing in the house, but of course it was pre-taped and whatever. You knew it was pre-taped. Well, of course it was.
Well, my biggest issue with it, I wanted something more like out there and bizarre, and instead I just got a fridge game dropped on Prey.
That was
and
extreme.
A bit of brawling around a house and a few little bits. I wanted it to be like full on, just like thing, and that's why I wasn't even I was disappointed with it. Like I'm all for fun, trashy like matches, but like that one was like
talking about. Obviously, I've said about outside influences, the heat backstage coming up in the ring potentially. Corbin, apparently he has heat potentially. I never saw this whole thing. I haven't even researched it. He was a dig on Twitter apparently to a fan or something, and then like an army guy disrespected an army guy or something, and it's like was him losing the Money in the Bank and then losing to Cena and now being whatever he's doing is that repercussions, but it's like
there's also that big thing of people saying that he was never meant to win the Money in the Bank, and that was because Road Dogg's like been pushing for him because Road Dogg's really behind
once again I haven't of course this is all hearsay, this is all rumours, so it's like
you never really know what's going on behind the scenes, and I think
it's all speculation.
Sometimes it is down to they pulled the trigger on Corbin and they were like, okay, they saw the weeks leading up and maybe they're like, okay, you're not ready for this, because I feel like they
didn't give him much time.
I feel like there was a dip for Corbin in the quality of his work, because he at one point he was doing good with promos and stuff, and now he just
I've never liked his promos. I don't think he's a good talker at all.
I thought he was in the beginning. I enjoyed his like little I remember his like little indie hating thing he had going on, and like, stuff like that, and now it seems like I feel like maybe his characters like become a bit unfocused. So they're not really sure what.
I think my issue is his promos don't work with his character. Some of his promos look like they don't look like it doesn't sound like he's doing a promo. It just sounds like he's kind of just talking into a microphone and in an awkward way. Whereas, Baron Corbin, you expect a bit more. There's a word, presence. He just doesn't have that presence.
That's the thing,
when he was the special referee, he just looked like it was just a day at the office, and he was just going 2, 3, yeah, get off, and he just didn't look.
He just lost something in the past. Because
into it.
He had all the presence and he had all the thing for me. I loved his. I really enjoyed his NXT run when he first joined. I liked his little. Like when he was just squashing people in like a few seconds and that kind of thing. And then
he's had some good matches.
It's just now they've gone a bit lost with him, and then obviously losing to Cena and the Money in the Bank, you're kind of like, well, why should I consider him anything at this moment?
Yeah.
And now obviously they've put him up against the.
Well, are they going to
doing AJ versus
Corbin,
which I think is what they're pushing for? So it's like, I can't. now I'm like, well, I can't ever see Corbin winning that match because it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't
Why
see
should
him
Corbin win? Because we know AJ Styles has beaten Cena. Cena beats Corbin. Why should Corbin now beat AJ?
But it's funny because that reminds me of something that Road Dogg tweeted in response to someone before. I think someone was complaining about someone losing.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, wins and losses don't matter. They kind of do.
They maybe not in WWE's terms, because WWE can do whatever they want in terms of wins and losses, and they can have someone lose something and then win a title. But in the fans' eyes, in terms of trying to get someone over, wins and losses do matter. Like, say, even losses can be beneficial in some way. Have someone go on a losing streak, it builds up this sort of sympathy or empathy, and they're like, oh, come on, is this going to be his time to win? The whole David versus Goliath scenarios, and
there's ways around it, and then it's just...
And then there's just...
Sometimes it's just like with Rusev losing 10 seconds, apparently that was to keep the feud going. There's no need for that feud to keep going.
Yeah, why? Orton proved he's...
Orton just beat him in 10 seconds. Why should I see a Rusev as this threat anymore?
Orton beat Rusev in 10 seconds after Rusev had attacked Orton. Rusev is now a little baby
on a big
bull.
show, on SummerSlam, on a massive show like that.
Yeah.
You just don't... that doesn't work for me. I don't... Like, I thought it was just... That was it. And now they're like, no.
Literally... Orton winning doesn't bother me. It was the manner in which they had him win. It was like...
No, I agree. That's why I have a
because
problem
literally,
with it as well.
if they give him the time, nice 10-minute match,
could have gone to
and then
a
Orton
count
went
out
over,
or disqualification,
fine.
or something
But
like that.
10 seconds, RKO,
To
1,
continue
2,
a feud
3.
doesn't work with me.
Damaging. Emma's booking, all over the place. Like winning, losing. Nia Jax, booking, all over the place.
Here's one of their biggest issues as well. Their problem at building faces. Big babyface stars.
Yeah.
Because Bayley's lost it with the crowd a lot. She has to regain that. Because when she come in, she was
it
really
was
massive
all the hype.
babyface. And her entire... And then her last feud she had with Bliss, she was getting booed. She started getting booed.
Yeah, I think it's more of the... her promos I don't think are the best.
Oh no, I will admit, yeah.
She just sometimes
she
she just seems to be like it's like she's just talking like
it didn't help that they
did
a whole Bliss, because they did like a whole high school bully kind of thing with her and Bailey, and they had the awful "This Is Your Life" segment and stuff like that. So it's like, and it didn't help in her favour, because what Bliss was saying was kind of just like not making the crowd feel sorry for Bailey. They're just going, oh yeah, Bailey is kind of a bit of a geek.
Yeah, a bit of a pushover.
And it's just...
And too goody two shoes, like Cena, like Reigns.
And that's why they get behind Bliss, because she's like this, like,
Yeah. She's the goddess.
Goddess, exactly. So it's... and it's stuff like that, and they seem to... They struggle, and... There are people who are pretty much established and they lose momentum. I mean, Dillinger come in and he's not been used much.
Yeah.
But he's over with the crowd and he's a great face. He plays a great baby face. I remember his match with Eric Young, and I thought he played his part perfectly in that. And I saw what they could do with it, and now
in general, Dillinger, he just gets me hyped every time I see him. From his music to his sort of entrance, his sort of mannerisms and all that, when he just gets me hyped, all this perfect 10 on, so I'm like, yeah, come on Dillinger, and it's just like loss. Now he won show for 2 weeks, loss, maybe win, and it's just like, it's just all over the place at the moment, and they need to think, why are you gonna have someone debut, win a few matches, and then just not care about them anymore?
They're not good at keeping momentum with things, and in the end it ends up being the crowd that picks and chooses who they want, who they have.
But because of the
Daniel Bryan came out of nowhere as this massive babyface.
Yeah.
And obviously they were like, and were always and reluctant, and then they eventually allowed it. But and it's like like Braun Strowman at the moment, he essentially I feel like the crowd treat him more as a babyface than they do many other main eventers.
I think
that's one. He's very like, I don't care attitude. That's similar to what Austin had.
Yeah.
That kind of like
in a way
thing, and also he kept getting beat down and like coming back up and just being like really like
just being a beast. But I think a lot of Braun Strowman's like cheering or that is just from the stuff he's been doing with Roman, because everyone hates Roman.
Well, no, because
they see him Braun being this big,
it kind of
badass.
People were like enjoying. I think people were enjoying the squash things he was doing, and then
start to get noticed.
What did he do with before Reigns? What did they have him do? Was there anything he did specific? I don't know if there was.
Kalisto, they done a small thing in between his ring stuff, I think. Didn't he throw Kalisto in against? Yeah.
I am a person.
I think he just done various.
But it's like the way
squashy stuff
just like
and the Wyatt stuff.
He was, and I think I can get that, but I think there is also the way that they were handling things with that made him go over, and like even now, like
yeah, like the Reigns feud is exactly
thing.
what's made him currently.
It's an odd thing, really.
Reigns makes stars.
Pretty much. But yeah, that's the one thing. I think I've mentioned that they don't. Obviously, because things can change all the time because it's a weekly thing, so there's always going to be ever-changing things. But sometimes I feel like they don't think enough in terms of long-term booking. Like they should really look at someone.
Yeah.
Like, who do we want to have as this big person, and then try and gather it that way.
And then how do we get there? Not just right. We want you to be so massive next week. Give him fucking championship gold or whatever, or just very over exaggerated, but they don't. It feels like they don't quite as well think about the journey. They might for some of the superstars, but for the majority, they seem to just
there which is just like not.
We'll just do stuff.
But that's just
But yeah, booking in general, it's important. If you want to build up stars, you need to put that time in. You need to take care of those stars, not just be like, all right, we're going to focus on these for now. We'll bring you up in a bit. You go lose some matches, you win some, you come back, you lose some more, and it's just like they've got so much talent there at the moment. I think the problem is as well, a lot of the superstars, like I remember pretty much all the roster because I care about most of the roster, because I'm like, they all have their own different sort of gimmicks, scenarios, and a lot of them are quite talented. There's too much talent, I think, which is why we're feeling some people are getting left out, because others need to shine. Some people need to take the loss. So I get that.
But I think they
just need to manage them better.
With some of the wrong people.
Yeah, in our eyes. Vince will obviously see things differently because Vince is Vince. He'll do what he wants.
Lord knows what goes through his brain, but
sees money in some people and not in others for whatever strange reason. But
I don't know, he just WWE
is still around. He knows what he's doing, kind of. So that's about it for topic 1.
I think I'll do.
Just treat superstars with respect. Superstar lives matter. Topic 2, sweet, is all about gimmick pay-per-views. So by gimmick pay-per-views, of course, we're meaning your Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, your Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, TLC, Fatal 4-Way, Breaking Point, Bragging Rights, and just any sort of pay-per-view which had this sort of stipulation match gimmick, or even stuff like Taboo Tuesday or Cyber Sunday where you voted in and maybe it was legit. Who knows?
I think for some of it was because there was some very interesting voting things.
Some of them seemed a bit, wait a minute, did everyone really vote for this? But
you never know.
We'll talk about gimmick pay-per-views in general. Are they good? Are they bad? And I think the overall consensus is sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. there's a mix. Hell in a Cell, is coming up, so that'll be the first example. Sometimes they'll have one match, sometimes they'll have two matches, sometimes they'll have three matches. With a gimmick name pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, you expect, of course, there to be at least multiple Hell in a Cell matches, but at what point then does it get too samey, or what point do you suffer from gimmick fatigue? Because Hell in a Cell matches better than steel cage matches most of the time, and steel cage matches I can only watch one every so often because I find them boring. Hell in a Cell match is slightly easier to swallow, but after two, I'm like, unless the third changes it up, they deliver a different style of match. It's just like, what? Why you're putting these people through this match, and sometimes it's not even a feud ender. Hell in a Cell is a perfect feud ending match, and they're treating it more like a step in their match, and then the next match is a normal match.
Because where it's placed, and it's placed like in an awkward position. Some of the times
in between the big.
And like I said,
two of the big shows, SummerSlam and Survivor Series.
Some feuds just don't need it, and then some feuds do. I mean, it's like, when they first announced it, it was all like very like, okay, where are you gonna go with this? And then I think the first ever Hell in a Cell match on that pay-per-view was Undertaker vs CM Punk, and the match lasted about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and it was just, and then at
that
point,
was due to heat against Punk. Apparently,
I think it was more to do with time because there were 3 different Cell matches on the bloody pay-per-view. But when once you saw that, you were suddenly like, that was when I was like, yeah, they don't need this. Back then in like 2009, I was just like, there was no need for them to be in a Hell in a Cell match because I know they had a weird finish to Breaking Point, and then
screw job finish.
You had the Anaconda Vice locked in, and then the ref called for the bell. Which was kind of pointless in its own way.
Well, yeah. So the first Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, Taker Punk, and then lasted 10 minutes.
They had Cena Orton,
21 minutes.
Which I remember being quite boring, to be honest.
And then DX Legacy,
which I really liked that match.
Loved that match.
And that one actually that was actually a feud ender, if I remember.
I believe so, and that was the main event as well.
It was the main event.
Because their prior matches, obviously they had the Submissions Count Anywhere match, another good match, and that was of course, another gimmick pay-per-view. Breaking Point. You had the submission match, an I Quit match, and Submissions Count Anywhere match. I actually liked that show. They were varied, and it works with Breaking Point. If you reach your breaking point, that's when you submit. I like that. There's also that
it depends on who's in the, because if you had the WWE title match and both guys hadn't done submissions, luckily with Punk and Taker, both guys had submission finishes.
Yeah, Hell's Gate, Anaconda.
Sense. But then you've got there are some people that are just like, I mean, like the Submissions Count Anywhere match for DX Legacy.
Yeah.
Okay, Michaels kind of uses like he used like a weird figure 4 and like a sharpshooter, but they weren't like and like DiBiase, I suppose you could say, the $1 Million Dream, but DiBiase had
Triple H had to pull out the crossface, I think. And I think they done.
Oh, didn't they do like
a chase spot? Walls of Jericho and a camel clutch, was it?
Wasn't someone tied up in the ring post in a figure 4 and like someone had something else on?
Michaels, that's it. Michaels had the figure 4 when did Michaels take it? He might have taken it.
And they might have DiBiase getting $1 Million Dream or something. Really
there was some double stuff.
I remember
like,
stuff
awesome.
like that. So it's like in that kind of like I think I remember that match being good, but I also think that was an odd match to have for that feud.
Well, what was you saying? It like we were talking about it prior, and you brought up the point that it just feels as though you're forcing.
You're shoehorning like feuds and people
to
into
go
it.
through this route,
and that's why like a lot of there's there's only really been a few on the Hell in a Cell pay-per-views I can remember being like really good and working, and then there's a lot of them I'm just like, some I just can't remember, and some I'm just like, there was no need for it. There's just like, it's kind of pointless.
Last year's Hell in a Cell is an example of it, I think, paying off. Reigns Rusev, their feud was definitely heading that way. From obviously at SummerSlam they done the whole fighting before the match and all that. Owens Rollins, it's for the title. Of course that should be inside the cell. And then Charlotte Banks, it was the groundbreaking first ever match. It was a good match. Some hiccups, but in all it was a good match.
They did really well when
the ending wasn't maybe ideal, but what are you going to do? Yes, last year I think was my favourite Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, in which all the gimmick matches paid off. It worked. It didn't feel like, alright, your feud, you can just use this as a stepping stone. Even though Hell in a Cell for Charlotte and Sasha was a bit of a... It was in between their feud.
But that was more of a...
It worked.
We're making history kind of thing. Which...
And they kept making history.
Cop-out. Well, not a cop-out. It's a bit of like a... you're just in the match to make history kind of thing. But then they obviously had Foley saying, you should take this seriously, and doing his little scream shouting, which he started doing. Yeah. Which was weird.
Caden Taker inside a cell at Hell in a Cell 2010.
And that's when Paul Bearer came back with the urn. The match is not good. The only good match...
was that a feud ending?
The only good match... No, that wasn't there. Buried Alive.
Yeah.
Because they had the normal match, which was good. It was like an Attitude Era style brawl. And they had the Hell in a Cell, which I remember not being good. They had the Buried Alive match, which was also even worse.
Yeah.
They had the urn with the light in the Hell in a Cell. I thought that one. I remember.
What Fatal 4-Way?
Fatal 4-Way was
that happened.
Well, yeah, in that first year, wasn't it? They were just like, okay, we're gonna have Breaking Point, Hell in a Cell, TLC. Then there's like, we're renaming No Way Out Elimination Chamber. And then they were like Fatal 4-Way, and then they introduced the Money in the Bank.
All that Money in the Bank,
pay-per-view.
It, like I said, it works in some aspects. Money in the Bank is a prime example of it working. Like, it sheds more spotlight.
Well, there's no feud to go into it. It's a special match for a special purpose. It's like a Royal Rumble match. Yeah. It's a special match for a special purpose.
It just works. People qualify to get into it. Sometimes they're just named, but it gets some of our favourite superstars in one ring in a ladder match with the hopes of becoming Mr. Money in the Bank or Miss Money in the Bank now. It works.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe the only example of it truly working. I liked when they had Royal Rumble, Chamber, Mania, because I liked the idea to get to Mania. The final chance for you was to go through the horrific satanic structure of the Elimination Chamber. I was like, yeah, this is like, it is the final chance.
Road, yeah.
It's a tough road to get to the main event. I like that.
The thing with Chamber is obviously things that are more. Obviously, it's multi-man, so you can kind of like fit feuds into it, and also create feuds in it for Mania, and also it's just like a good, nice little.
Whereas now it's
in between thing.
Mid-year. Wait. No, it was no. This
Chamber got put back. Yeah,
this year it was back in February,
and then
which is ideal spot.
And they revamped it to, which I thought was really interesting. I really liked the new design.
Yeah, I like the new design.
I really like it. It felt fresh. It made it feel fresh. I thought.
Very. It's weird as well because I obviously managed. I stepped inside it and it was awesome. Like it is very weird. It's the black sort of steel, and it just sounds like it'll hurt. Of course, I've taken some bumps, but I wouldn't want to take a bump on that. And it's like the sort of square pods. It creates more space for the people inside, but it creates more opportunity, like for stuff to be done using the pods.
I do like that. It's a
Elimination Chamber.
very nice little thing.
Actually, my favourite gimmick match of all time, because I love the possibilities from it.
That's
6 people. It has the chance to create stars. I thought from Elimination Chamber, Bray Wyatt was going to become now this big thing, but didn't
That was a
happen.
failed opportunity.
Drew McIntyre had his
the
Elimination Chamber match.
Great,
He had a great showing.
running,
Like his sort of character, his persona, he sort of went into that match and he was ready to fight. He was banging on the glass. It's I just love the match.
It is good.
Sometimes they're not even that good.
I think
Sometimes
it's very
they're
rare
just,
though. There's not been many that have
most
been
of them
that
are good,
And
but some are just
There's one or two that have been like
not bad,
I mean,
just
well, one was
uninspiring.
I feel like the 2015 one is
2015.
bad. The one with Mark Henry getting his
That's the IC title match one,
I think that's the only one I was like.
Because I actually liked the tag title match.
No, the tag title match was fun, and then because I remember thinking, oh, the 2015 one's alright, and then when I rewatched them all earlier in the year for the Chamber.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember people saying it's bad. It's probably not as bad as I remember it. And I rewatched it and I was like, yeah, this isn't the best.
Yeah. Well, of course, as well, with Elimination Chamber, they sometimes have 2 matches, sometimes only the 1. And even with the 2, I think 2 was...
2's a max.
I
go
as a
above
max,
2.
definitely wouldn't do like 3. I think 2 was still like I didn't get fatigued from it, but it is my favourite match, so I'm a little biased on that. I love watching these matches unfold. Who's out next? 1
They're always
is then
fun
like, why'd you call
matches
it?
Anyway, so.
Why'd you call it this? So why is the pay-per-view named this if there's only 1 match for it? So I don't know it.
Because that's the main attraction.
The main attraction.
Like the Money in the Bank
Royal
or the
Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
But it's like...
Survivor Series.
You know, it's just weird how like they were like, oh, you know, we're going to have this match there, so we'll just call the pay-per-view that. So it's like, you're now shoehorning it, so every February or what have you, we know we're getting an Elimination Chamber match. I like the surprise of being like, I think the first 2 times or 3 times the Elimination Chamber was announced, it was a huge surprise. Like the second time, I remember everyone was in the ring, they were having their fight, Austin came out, done this promo, so it's going to be at SummerSlam, Triple H versus Kevin Nash versus Chris Jericho versus Randy Orton, blah blah blah, because this match, the World Championship, will be contested inside the Elimination Chamber, and everyone just erupted, and I'm just like, I love those moments. We don't know when this match is going to...
2003 was a very unexpected one anyway for the booking team, because it was not the plan.
Yeah.
I knew it was meant to be like Foley versus Triple H.
Oh.
That was the original plan, and then Triple H was injured. That's why he's barely in it. And they did the Elimination Chamber for it, which is, you know, fair dues. But like I like when it's... That's the thing about Hell in a Cell. I like it when it's suddenly unexpected, like it used to be. And they still do it sometimes. They still have ones at Mania.
The one where they announced Triple H versus Undertaker, Hell in a Cell at Mania. I was like, oh damn. When they announced Undertaker and Shane O'Mac, Hell in a Cell, I was like, damn!
And it's like, you don't expect them because obviously they got the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So I think that's kind of nice, but at the same time I kind of like it when certain feuds I think it works with, if they've gone on so long, can just... It's nice to just...
I like not knowing. TLC. Yeah, I know a TLC match is happening. I know a ladder match, a tables match, and chairs match is happening. And it's like TLC is unlike Hell in a Cell, unlike obviously like Elimination Chamber. You know, like TLC, you don't really see TLC matches throughout the year. You usually only see it that once, maybe.
That's the one. That's the one you can't. It's really hard to have any feud. I'll be like, oh, let's have a TLC match. So kind of, you can only really like unless it's like the only when it was originally created, why? Because Edge and Christian used chairs, Hardy used ladders and things, used tables. That's like the most
story-based way to get into one.
The one that made most sense ever was them two tag teams, and then obviously someone like Edge being like, well, that's my specialty, let's have a TLC match or something like that. That works nicely. So having that on a pay-per-view, I'm okay with, because I don't mind so much, because the only way you can really get you can really shoehorn feuds into that these days. So it's like I think they need to. I don't know. They need to sort out Extreme Rules, because that's gone down the drain in terms of what they do. I think
used to be extreme. It used to be every match had a stipulation. Then it was literally, it gradually went every match. Most matches, a majority of the matches. We'll give you some of the matches, and then it's just like they're just diluting the product.
I think they need to drop it, because I hate the term Extreme Rules now.
Yeah, because it's not extreme.
It just doesn't work anymore. Like, call it something like, I don't know, no rules of no holds barred.
No holds barred. There are weapons. But Extreme Rules. Obviously, it's not Extreme Rules anymore. You can't use barbed wire. You can't use fire. You can't use.
I mean, they managed to the 1 year.
Yeah, to be fair to them.
I was surprised in like table in that match, to be fair. But
it's very.
It's a tired. It's a tired name that you can. It's just
the one thing about these pay-per-views. Yes, they get me excited. I know TLC is around the corner. I know Hell in a Cell is around the corner. They're good for getting people excited about these pay-per-views.
And they can sell tickets.
Yeah, they can sell.
I can guarantee there's a Hell in a Cell here. I'm going to go.
Yeah. To be fair, if I had the opportunity, if I lived in America and I knew Hell in a Cell was happening kind of near me, or even maybe a few states across, I'd be like, yeah, damn right I'm going. I want to see a Hell in a Cell match live. I want to see a TLC match live. I want to see a Chamber live.
Exactly.
I get that.
That's the main selling point of it.
It's all about tickets. It's all about money.
That's the main.
I guess
it's all down to the draw.
The product. Product doesn't matter. It's all about just selling those tickets.
But sometimes I feel like it comes to the time and they have to force themselves. It's also down to writers having to be like put the effort into book them. But also,
not just be like, oh shit, this is happening next week.
If anything, that should give them the opportunity to go, right, Hell in a Cell is October, let's think about the feud, that way we can start and go towards. And I don't think they really do that much. They kind of just do it on a week. Like I said, a lot of the booking sometimes feels like it's very week by week, so it's very like. To
be fair, sometimes that kind of has to be the case, because anything can happen.
Injuries happen. That's.
I get that.
Always have a backup.
Have a backup. Just think. Don't be like. Don't get to October and think, oh damn, we got Hell in a Cell in like 2 weeks. All right, who wants Hell in a Cell match? Anyone? You two. You got a few. You can get in there. Sometimes it feels just very like, oh well, we've got this coming up. Let's we forgot about that. But I suppose at the end of the day, business is business. It's all about money. They hype people. Like, I'm always hyped. As much as I sort of kind of getting annoyed at all these sort of gimmick pay-per-views, I get hyped every time one comes round. I'm like,
I do.
TLC is my favourite. TLC, other than the Big Four, is my favourite pay-per-view that comes round, because I love ladder matches, love TLC matches, and then Chamber is like, but they in terms of pay-per-view, but it gets me hyped. Can't blame them for doing it. Just have a bit more forethought. If any of the WWE staff are watching, give it thought, please.
I agree. Yeah.
And give me more Chamber. I don't care what. Just give me more. Anything to add about the Gimmick pay-per-views? We've kind of forgotten.
Covered the bases. I don't think there's any I've forgotten unless there's like one that
Yeah.
skewered around. But as
Probably.
far as I'm aware.
Okay, so that's the end of topic 2. Fade to black, cut, and insert next clip. I probably won't do all that. It's time to take a trip down the lane. You know, go for a little stroll with Eric Hart in the Hart attic. Take it away.
Yeah, so big weekend happened. First up, we had a bit of Noah news from the Pro Wrestling Noah camp. They had new GHC heavyweight champion crowned. Eddie Edwards beat Katsuhiko Nakajima. Obviously, Eddie Edwards, I think a lot of people know from his run in TNA and that he's had.
That's where I've heard of him from.
But he's been in Noah before that. He's been working Noah years before he was in that. So well deserved for him, really. I mean, he haven't been in Noah for a while, but he's a good talent, and seemed like they needed a new champion because they're still not doing well in terms of attendance. They're not selling the Korakuen Hall shows. They're not singing. They're still dwindling, which is a shame. But you can't really, do much about that. For the first time, I'm going to take us down to Mexico. AAA had their Triple Mania, their biggest show of the year, celebrating the 25th anniversary show.
Why do
And
I've seen something about that.
You might have seen something about that because there were 3 matches I'd say were pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And then some of the opening tag matches had some fun bits, pretty fun. Everything else you could chuck in the bin. They had a 4-way women's match, right?
Yeah.
Sexy Star, Rosemary, I can't remember the other 2. It was for a title, and it's quite possibly the worst match I've seen all year. They seemed so lost, like they didn't know what was going on. Like it was just like a few dustbin shots, and then Sexy Star was out of the match for a while, and then she come in one retained her title with an armbar, and the whole thing was just I think it might have been
the armbar thing was the thing I heard about.
Yeah, I've heard things about it being shoot
armbar and
yeah, that's what this is
dangerous
why
or something like that.
It's a legit armbar was put in, and it was proper locked in, and that's why Rosemary had to tap out. So I'm very confused. The whole thing was just it just looked like they were, because it's not like these women were bad wrestlers. They were just didn't seem to
the match wasn't structured.
Have a clue what was going on. I mean, they had a massive battle royal then. Massive. It was kind of like a Royal Rumble almost, and which was kind of a bit boring to be honest, and they really confusing because La Parka they had pin, because you can win by elimination. You can eliminate someone by pinning them or throw them over. So La Parka pinned, I think it was limited Jeff Jarrett, and who was in the match, and then his music started going off, but it was in the end of the match. I had English commentary on this thing. The English commentary, they were good with translating to Spanish. Fair play to them.
Yeah.
But they were clueless about a lot of things. Sometimes, unless the announcer announced who the people were, or they were saying on the board, they didn't really know who the people were. They seemed a bit confused about rules because things were I think there was an opening tag match. They were oh, is this elimination? Is it elimination? It's not elimination. It's not elimination. Sorry, folks.
Right.
And they try and explain things, and it's just
yeah. Just poor organising.
And then they had, I think it was Pejano versus, they had a street fight match, which a trashy little street fight. It was kind of fun. And then they had a weird thing where the guy, Pejano hits El Messias with a baseball bat in the leg, and then the ref calls down paramedics, and then some guy comes. There was one thing I will say, lots of run-ins in nearly every match. Lots of run-ins.
What, in every match there was lots of run-ins, or the show in general?
Just show in general, nearly every match apart from the main event had a run-in from someone. They had a ladder match. The ladder match was fun. It was Johnny Mundo, El Phantasma, and I can't remember the other guy.
Mundo is Morrison, right?
Yeah. Tejano Jr. That was a fun match. Apart from, again, they had a bit of a run-in the end, which is a bit of a thing, and Morrison took a dodgy bump. And then they had the tag team title match was good as well. They all started like a dive off the lightning rig.
Cool.
He was like on the lightning rig, he just kept telling the guys to put it higher and higher, so it was just like...
Oh, wow.
It was pretty high up, I'll give them that. And then, obviously, but the main draw of the show was the mask versus match, which had Psycho Clown taking on the legend that is Dr. Wagner Jr. And it was a solid main event. They did, and Dr. Wagner Jr. lost, and he had to be unmasked after. I think he's like 50 odd, so he's wrestling for over like 30 years or something.
Oh, right. So wow.
It was a big moment, because he has to reveal his name and reveal his location, and there were people in the crowd crying. Like the crowd were like really into the match. It was like a big thing. So like that was, I think that was obviously the big draw. So in terms of that, they delivered. Everything else, it was just like AAA have always been a bit messy with the shows, and it's the only time I ever watched AAA, to be honest. I'm just like, WrestleMania, because I watched it last year, and
why not?
But they did that. So that was out the way, and then finally, the other big thing that happened was the All Japan Pro Wrestling 45th anniversary show that happened at the Sumo Hall. A lot of stacked stuff. They had Ultimate Dragon versus Tajiri, and for the junior heavyweight title, pretty good match. Obviously they're a lot older now, so there's only so much they can do. But they did well with what they did, and I think an Ultimate Dragon won with the Isai DDT. His Ultimate Dragon DDT. Yeah. And won the belt off Tajiri, so that was nice. They also had probably what I'd regard as quite possibly, they had a special 45th anniversary match, right? Tag team match.
Right.
And it's probably the oldest tag team match in existence. I don't know if it's the oldest tag team match ever, but it's near enough. The youngest person in this match is 56 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I did the math. They have a combined, it's 4 people in this tag match. They have a combined age of 263 years and a combined amount of wrestling experience, 188 years of wrestling experience. Because it was Hiro Saito, Great Kabuki, against Dory Funk Jr., who's 76 years old, by the way. And Masanobu Fuchi, and it was just like, obviously you can't expect much from it, because Funk can hardly move. I think Saito, because he was the youngest, was the only one that took any bumps, like, essentially.
My issue with stuff like that is if you can't barely move, if you can't put on a good match, don't wrestle.
I think in any other place, any other country, it would have been disastrous. But it works in Japan because Japan just have a big load of respect for these guys, and they're just willing to let them do their thing. And people, I think people just like the humour of Funk because obviously, like I said, he won with a spinning toe, and it's like the slowest spinning toe you've ever seen in your life. And he'll like just do little elbow jabs, and everyone's got to like try and like sell them like really as much as possible. I mean, it's quite fascinating to watch him. Really, I think he's trying to. I know Great Kajiki wanted to beat him for it, but I think he's trying. At the moment, he seems to be trying to be the world's oldest wrestler. Right. I mean, he's been wrestling longer than All Japan's been around. So All Japan's been around for 45 years. He's been wrestling for like 55 years. So that's like that's crazy amount of time. The 2 big highlights from the event, though, was the tag team title match, which has been a bit of a shambles because like 2 different teams who've won it have had partners injured in the last few months. So like the 2 people who had their partners injured formed together to make their own tag team, and took on the team of Strong BJ, which is stands for Strong Big Japan, but they're called Strong BJ. And Strong BJ got the win. It was a great tag match. And now Nomura, who hasn't been wrestling long, might have put on the best performance of his career. Like really was trying hard to get them titles. Yeah. So fair play to him. And then the other big highlight was they did have the main event, which was the Triple Crown championship match. It was the rematch between Kento Miyahara and Shuji Ishikawa. Shuji, of course, won it off him a few months ago. He's had a bit of a run with it. This was the biggest show of the year in Sumo Hall, and fantastic match. I think it's on par with the previous one, and Kento managed to regain his title in the shutdown German suplex.
Good.
So well done to him. It's a fun show overall, and I want to give a quick shout out to the All Japan Pro Wrestling Kings Road Facebook page. They shared my review of it on their page. The Twitter user who did it was his name's, I think it's Kawada's Toothless Grin. They've shared a couple of my reviews before, but apparently I'm like one of the first to actually have wrote a review for the show, which I was kind of surprised at, because usually like Wrestling with Words or something, or like some other ones do it. But I was like, because he posted this is the first one I've seen, and I was looking around. I was like, he's right. Okay. So thank you for sharing that, and thanks for everyone who's checked that out. But yeah, so yeah, in terms of match recommendations, definitely recommend the main event for that All Japan match, All Japan show, and the tag title match. And yeah, that's pretty much it from the Hart Night this week. I don't know if there's anything much coming up in terms of stuff, but it was a big weekend, and a lot of stuff got done, but fair play.
Awesome. So now we take it back to our usual sort of WWE related topics more than anything. Although some of our topics can be, like booking, that can go for every way.
Good.
But thank you very much for this insight into the AAA thing, because I just didn't. The only thing I heard was that armbar thing, and I guess we don't know the truth about it.
They just have some weird things happening in that promotion. I just can't explain it half the time.
The third and final topic now is all about the Mae Young Classic that aired sometime this week.
It was on. They dropped them all on Monday. Dropped
the first four episodes from the round
one.
one, 32 participants. So it's the 32 women all competing in a single elimination thing.
Round robin.
What's the word for it?
Is it round robin? Is it a round robin tournament? I'm sure it's a round robin tournament.
I don't know. Basically, you lose, you're out, you go home, and then the winner gets into the next round.
I know what you're on about now. So what's the word? Sudden death tournament.
Now a lot of these wrestlers I've heard about. There's some which I'm like, okay, I've heard of you. So of course, then
pretty much.
the ones I've heard of are kind of like my picks, like who I'd want to win, and some good matches from the first 4 episodes so far. One of my favourites is Piper Niven versus Santana Garrett. That match I felt was a good one. Was really good. I haven't watched the 4th episode yet, so I can only comment on the matches from the first 3 shows.
Well, I can say Kairi Sane and Tessa Blanchard was a good one,
right?
As well. I know one of them wasn't so good on the 4th on that one, and I think like I can't remember what else.
Yeah, there was some.
I know day 2. I thought day 2 was
okay matches.
It was a little weak. Like they had some like the matches were okay, but nothing.
Yeah.
And then I think like the final one on the day was like really good. But yeah, they've had some good matches. I mean, round 1 is usually like.
Yeah.
You don't get the best matches out of everything. You just get some good stuff.
Yeah.
Like round 1's always like
and
the kind
the one thing about like. I love these tournaments that they've been doing. The Cruiserweight Classic, the UK Championship Tournament, now this Mae Young Classic. Like, even if you lose in the first match, like, it's a perfect opportunity for someone to go out there, showcase what they can do. Like, if you don't win the tournament, you've still displayed what you can.
Yeah, exactly.
You've still got your shot. Potentially get a contract out of it. Like some of the wrestlers are already sort of in NXT doing stuff, but I can see a lot more, getting signed just from the performances they. Well,
I know they've. I think I heard that unlike the Cruiserweight Classic last year, which was very, it was very volatile in terms of people like not taking contracts. Like obviously Kota Ibushi and
Yeah.
Zack Sabre got far, but they weren't taking the contracts. So I think I feel they're being more pushy towards the people that they know is going to have the contracts, or have the contracts, or have people who they think know.
Well, yeah, I suppose
which I think makes
why
sense.
the surprise of TJP winning the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah, I mean that is true. It's but yeah, they got a nice amount of talent. I was surprised about Kaylee Ray eliminating. I think that's the one I was kind of like, because I do really like Kaylee Ray.
Yeah, Kaylee Ray was one of the ones I was sort of pushing for to go far, but lost against Princessa Suhei, the veteran that I've never heard of.
Surprisingly, I haven't either, and you would have thought I would, because she's meant to be a big Mexican woman veteran wrestler. I mean, I'm not big on... I'm not very knowledgeable on Mexican wrestlers, but I do have like a...
the bigger promotions, so maybe it's a case of she was doing just a lot of the more... Well, I think she more indie
the
than
CMLL thing. Yeah. But there are a lot of Mexican wrestlers I don't know, so that's just how it is. I suppose it makes sense for them to have the Mexican veteran go through and I know because a lot of these, I know quite a few of the women are from work for Stardom in Japan, and it's like Kaylee Ray does, and I think Piper does, and so it's like because they got their own tournament going on as well at the moment, the 5-Star Grand Prix, which I think Kaylee Ray is in, and I can't remember if Piper is or not. Maybe
Tony Storm is
Tony
with
Storm
Stardom
as well. Yeah. So it's like I don't know what their futures hold, but it could be a case of maybe something like that. But I think I guess it's good to have some surprises, because there were quite a few that you just knew, like Kairi Sane I knew was just going to go through, because she's been picked as a favourite. When someone's a favourite, usually Tessa Blanchard had a good shot, but maybe if she was against someone else,
that's the thing. I think for some of the participants, there was a case of they would have won if they weren't against their opponents. So it's like Kaylee Ray could have very well have gone through to the next round, maybe if the field was switched around a bit. Like obviously it's pre-booked and predetermined, but I guess someone's got to go.
Well, it's like in the Cruiserweight Classic last year, and you see someone against someone you don't really know. Yeah. Someone is going to go through. That's just like the general thing. About it, because there are a few people that I knew. I'd never really seen wrestle, but I kind of knew them. Yeah. So I was like, okay, and then the other person would be like someone new that hasn't really like obviously they had like Carly's trainee come in against Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai's quite an established women's indie wrestler. She's been on
NXT a bit.
But the other one's just like someone who's never wrestled in America.
Yeah, there's no footage.
Come for an Indian tryout, so it's like
Kavita Devi or something like that.
I just know her as. I just remember Hard KD because that's just remember her saying in her promo. Yeah. Because she called herself Hard. So yeah, with Kavita Devine.
There's a lot of ones you don't really. There was the one from Booker T's. Academy, the 5 foot. I can't remember her name for the life of me, but she lost because I think that was probably her first big match.
And they had their Xia Li as well, a Chinese recruit who had never wrestled before ever. So,
she lost.
But like it makes sense.
It makes sense.
And those are people that are probably part of the developmental center anyway, so it helps them. Yeah, being in with gives them spotlight, kind of guy, women,
and like some of the people they were going against with veterans, like Mercedes Martinez. I think went against the Chinese one. Mercedes Martinez has been around a long time. We kind of see why. Some of these vets going over, like Princessa Suhei went over Kaylee Ray. I know Kaylee Ray's been there 8 years. I think she's had a 8-year career so far in wrestling.
She's been around.
But Princessa Suhei is like double that at least.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, Ray's been like around, because she was in like the TNA boot camp thing, and she won that, and she was she actually, I remember being in a few. She had a match against Nia Jax on NXT, and I only remember that because
Kaylee Ray.
Yeah, I only remember that because it was when Nia Jax was squashing people, and Kaylee Ray stood out completely because she's that good. Like I was looking at her, I was like, because I was like, oh, is that Kaylee Ray? It's like, oh yeah. And she was doing the stuff with Nia Jax, and she made it it was like much more better. It was like one of the better. Probably one of the best matches Nia Jax had on NXT, and I was just like really impressed with it because it was like a short thing, but she did, she did a bunch, and I was just really like impressed with it. So it's like there's some good people. I mean, Bianca Belair, I heard about before the tournament because I know she had an NXT.
I remember the name. But I couldn't remember.
They did film a qualifying match for NXT, but they never aired it. Apparently,
right.
So it showed footage of it when she was doing the promo.
Yeah.
During her little promo thing. So I knew about it, and I think I saw a gif of her using her hair on like a house show or something like that. Yeah. So I was like,
I love that idea. The long ass hair, using it as like a little whip, and I just think it's a clever idea. It's like it's not been done. I don't think.
Yeah, they got.
Does it count as like obviously? I imagine it. Yeah, it would count as like kind of a weapon if imagine choking someone with it.
Yeah,
but and that would constitute the 5 count and all that. But I think
it's your body part. You can use it essentially.
That's something she should do. Try and
it's smart. It's
choke
different.
Someone.
It's a nice. It makes you stick out. Which is good. Which is what and obviously she got through. So.
Someone I didn't really know. Someone I am now. Quite like I want to see more of her going forward. Candice LeRae, she's been around a long time. I've heard that name for many years, particularly on the indie scene. She was married to Johnny Gargano. She could go a long way. But it depends then on contracts, who's likely to sign, I guess.
I think that is
like going into the tournament, because I know Candice LeRae, from what I hear, big name, I would expect her to have a big impact. But
I agree.
There's just so many.
And you have like,
after watching them for the first time, there's just too many good talent in that pool.
And then you've got the Kendrick of the tournament, which is Serena, essentially.
Yeah.
Getting her nice return. I spoke to you before, and the only thing I ever saw of Serena was the Straight Society stuff, which I've heard a lot of people say never watch that stuff because I remember it just being. I think she only had a couple matches, and it was just not good. And but I heard a lot of people say that everything outside of that stuff, like on OVW or on like some of her indie stuff, was always a lot more impressive. And then saw her in the qualifier, and she is actually quite good talent. So I was like, it was nice to see that. Nice to see her come in and show people difference, because I saw they mentioned that she had alcohol problems, and she's like overcome that now. So that's a nice little arc to go in, so that could mean she can go far in this tournament, much like Kendrick did. There's a lot to play for, and so after this round one's done, now it becomes, I think, a bit tougher to call.
Now you're establishing people. We know who they are. The crowd are now going to be getting behind certain people for the rest of the tournament.
They'll probably have a bit more time in their matches as well, because it's going to be less. Usually this could be where we start seeing like the best matches, essentially, before the finals, of course. So
we got the round of 32 out of the way. Now it's the round of 16 matches. We've got 8 matches in this round of 16. Got Abby Lath, another one which I didn't know, now I'm big on. I think she's awesome. The beginning to her versus Alpha Female was like literally the crowd were roaring after few hits, push back, few hits, push back. There's both of them just screaming at each other. I was like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, it was a proper like big versus little kind of contest.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. It was that was one of the best matches of round one. I feel.
Yeah,
like.
definitely.
Definitely like stood out to me.
Abby Leith versus Rachel Evers. Rachel Evers, the daughter of Paul Ellering.
Yeah.
The story behind it, Rachel, like, Paul never took her to the shows.
Paul didn't want her involved.
And now I think she's like a powerlifting background, so she uses that in her matches.
She's quite
that should be an interesting one. Then you got Princessa Suhei versus Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez had a strong, I think, first match against the
Zia.
That's the name I'm looking for. And then Princessa, of course, went over on Kay Gray in the opening round.
So we got the two biggest veterans of the tournament.
Yeah, I believe so. Then I don't know this other name, Nicole Savoy. I can't remember her.
She's on round 4.
The 4th episode.
She's on the 4th episode.
Right. Okay.
I feel like it's her match. I remember being like the I can't remember who she versed, but I feel like there was a bit of like
just didn't
quite click.
Right.
So
Nicole Savoy versus Candice LeRae.
Okay. Yeah. That seems like I feel like that's one that Candice LeRae will end up winning.
Yeah.
That seems like one of the more like
easy to predict kind of thing.
Predict ones. I can't really say about the first two.
Yeah.
One seems like a more of a
Mae Young versus Shayna Baszler. Shayna, of course, the MMA fighter.
The 4 horsewoman.
Yeah, 4 horsewoman. Interesting matchup, I think.
That's a tough one.
Because both names I thought were pretty. They had strong opening matches, and they just seemed to be like. Out to these
They're
two,
both quite established as well.
I think tough. Both of them would get pushed forward, but they come in to a head against each other.
I feel like they're gonna give. Shayna seems like someone they might give a push.
It could very well be.
But Mia could very well get it. She's got the thing behind it. It's a tough. That is a tough call.
However you say Mia or Maya's name, she's the one with the domestic abuse story and how she's. Trying to break the sort of the barriers. Anyone can suffer from it. Strong match. Like I think her match against I can't remember the name, but I remember that match being I quite enjoyed that one. I want to see more going forward. Shayna, of course, rear naked choke victory. I think in the opening round.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, she's like it was like a proper like shoot style match almost. Yeah, they were just testing it because the other one was like MMA background, so they were just yeah.
And then the name the Japanese
Kairi Sane.
Was it Kairi
Sane?
Kairi Sane, right? Okay. Versus Bianca Belair. I can probably unfortunately say. Bianca might be getting eliminated,
Yeah.
I mean,
like I said, Kairi
to go against
is like the I think she's the favorite, and also Bianca hasn't been wrestling long. She's like
no.
She come in from like a track and field background or something like that.
Right. Okay.
So I think she's like.
That's fair enough.
I don't think she's been wrestling all that long. So.
Because this is the issue now. Obviously, you get some of the favourites will start going against each other, and it's like, oh damn.
It's This is the big. It's always crunch time around.
And then people will get eliminated. Dakota Kai then versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley from Australia. Like I didn't know her before this.
She had a soccer background. She's another one who's only started. I think started wrestling.
Impressed.
She was from a
early
soccer
on.
background.
People big on her. Got Serena Deeb then, the vet, versus Piper Niven. I don't know how long Piper's been wrestling.
She's been around.
Is she Viper?
She's Viper. She is Viper. So she has been around for.
So I've heard the name.
Now. I mean, she was on the World of Sport wrestling show.
Yeah.
So it's surprising she managed to get into this, but obviously the whole ITV wrestling thing has
Yeah.
seems to be down the drain at the moment. So who cares?
That'll be an interesting matchup.
For sure. That's
Piper, of course, is now the only Scottish one left in the tournament after Keighley went. Obviously, I don't think it's booked.
Well, she's only a British one there in left, isn't she?
Might be, because I know there's like, out of all the 32, a lot of them were Americans.
Because there was only only one British woman, and she got. I think she's the one that versed Tony Storm.
Right. Because obviously it isn't booked like it, but I thought that they would try and keep, they'd have a balance then going towards the ending, so to try and
tough one,
representing countries and all that. But
I think that's not really been their focus this year.
Lacey Evans then versus Tony Storm. Tony Storm is my favourite. I think watched her on the WrestleMania weekend at NXT's Access matches. And I was like, fucking awesome. Absolutely awesome. The hip attack thing is just so... It just gets the pops, and it's just so interesting to see the bang, bang, oh, bang. And I'm just like, yeah, that's so cool. But quite a few matches where I'm just like, I know who's going home and I'm not happy about it. But we might see them again in the future, hopefully. Great idea. So far, great execution. I'm happy how they're doing it. Jim Ross leader, commentary team, not quite the best commentary, but
it hasn't been bad though. I think a lot of people.
Oh no, it's not been bad.
Be a lot worse with the commentary, but I think it's been working. I think I did hear that they did have to re-record some stuff, so that probably helped. So they get given. But I've enjoyed the tournament so far. I think they've definitely got some good talent in there, and they've set up some interesting matches, so I'm looking forward to watching them.
Definitely.
When they drop next week.
September 4th apparently is when both, not both, but the round of 16 quarterfinals and semi-finals are airing. So I can imagine 2 episodes for the round of 16, an episode for the 4 quarterfinals, and then an episode for the semi-finals. The semi-finals show could, I imagine, have 2 other matches involved. Or
maybe
they'll
do
30-minute time limit, and they just have a bunch of hype stuff.
I don't know what they got. They got the so they got 16. No, there's 8 matches. 8
matches, so 2 shows. Then quarterfinals will have 4 matches. That's another show. And then the semi-finals, whether they have 2 matches, because I know the Cruiserweight Classic, I think the finals had
an
extra.
On the same day, didn't they?
They had the semi-finals, the finals, and then I think they put in another match or something, or they did with the UK title tournament, because obviously they had Tommy End have a match with someone, Neville. That's right. But
maybe
whether they do that. But yeah, so Mae Young Classic, definitely give it a watch. I mean, it's stuff like this which is just breaking the barriers between the male and female wrestlers. Everyone, it's just wrestlers now. It's just it's good to see this whole revolution just keep on trucking, and it just is a great way for showcasing the women talent on a grand scale.
We could see on the main roster in future, which I definitely want to see.
Because from the Cruiserweight Classic, got TJP. We've got a lot of them. Rich Swann, Cedric
205
Alexander,
Live, they signed loads of them.
Drew Gulak, the Grand Metalik. Then from the UK tournament, Pete Dunne, Trent, Tyler Bate, Wolfgang. The tough one, the one who's had a little feud with Oni Lorcan.
Danny Burch.
Danny Burch is another one. So hopefully you see quite a few signings come out of this, and then some names being built. But yeah,
I'm looking forward.
That's it for me. Anything left? No?
I think that's it.
Well, thank you for joining us. If you like what you saw, don't forget to give us the old thumbs up down below. It's greatly appreciated. Then maybe go a bit down and click the subscribe button and the bell next to it. That will give you notifications each and every time we upload a video. You can join the Conquest through a number of different ways. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/join the Conquest. If you do, we will love you forever because it really helps build what is the Conquest. It will help us grow and push forward, be able to deliver more content, and yeah, pretty much. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/conquestcg. You can follow us on Twitter at run_conquest. All the other channels will be down in the little description down there. Anything you want to plug?
Anything I want to plug?
Yeah?
Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm plugging. Well, no, you can.
What's your blog for your reviews?
It is blazingheart.wordpress.com. No, it's not a reference to marijuana.
No.
It's a reference to the theme song by Clint Kabashi's theme song in All Japan.
Blazing without the G.
Yes, blazing heart, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's,
so blazing without the G and heart, like
used.
Bret Hart, not a human heart. So yeah, this has been No Flips, Just Mics, episode 9. I, of course, have been Rhys Baldwin. He has been Eric Hart.
I have been.
And for joining, you've been absolutely amazing. We hope to see you next time on No Flips, Just Mics, episode 10. All that's left to do is to ring the bell.